This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Doing good. Oh, how are you?
Cannot complain, my man. Legs getting a little better, so
Good to hear.
yeah. Hopefully, we'll be able to start moving around a little bit better. So, anyway, so talk to me a little bit about a brochure.
Yeah, that was the fun part of the weekend for the Miami Hurricanes. Watching Mario Cristobal and Brett Bielema, the Illinois coach, get into it on Twitter. This is the dead period, man. We are like starving for stuff. Spring football is not till the start of March, so this is the kind of stuff that entertains us. So, Bielema obviously was upset that they weren't able to land either of the top recruits, meaning Illinois wasn't able to land either of the top recruits in their own state, including Marquise Lightfoot, a kid that they went after pretty hard, an edge rusher. So Lightfoot tweets out a link to Miami's NIL collective, promoting the NIL collective, and then Brett Bielema quote tweets what Lightfoot puts out there, and I'd say I'd love to see a brochure for this, basically insinuating that the only reason Lightfoot signed with Miami is because he got a really good NIL deal.
Okay,
And Mario clapped back. Mario clapped back and was like, took a screenshot from a fan and said, "Hey, look, we signed the top two players. I like this brochure." So it was a little fun jab between two head coaches of Power 5 schools over recruiting trail stuff, man. It's entertaining to me.
Somebody tell Brett Bielema that you're in Illinois, bro. You're in Illinois, okay? You're in Illinois, all right?
Yeah,
So
you're not
give me
going
a
to
break.
win. You're not going to beat Miami for a lot of recruits that they want. So
You're not going to beat a lot of teams.
yeah,
Forget Miami's way lower on the totem pole that just beat you. There's a shitload of teams ahead of Miami that you're also not going to beat. FSU and Ohio State and Alabama and Georgia. We could just go on and on. So you're Illinois, okay? So there's 40, 50 other schools that players are going to think of before they go to Illinois. I mean, seriously, dude. But like the last time we were talking about Illinois down here was like Vontae Davis.
it has been that long. And you're right. I just looked at the 2024 recruiting class. Illinois didn't sign any of the top 13 recruits in their own state. So there
Brother,
you go.
That's the day I knew Jeff George, excuse my French out there, was a complete wussy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Complete wussy. Why? Because we had Craig Erickson and Vinny Testaverde, if I'm correct, and they were recruiting Jeff George at the same time.
Right.
And he chose to stay at Illinois instead of come to Miami. And then he transferred to Purdue, was it?
I'm trying to remember where he ended up.
A while ago, bro. I'm trying to remember shit right off the top.
So many decades ago now. No, he ended up at Illinois. That's where he ended up at.
So he instead of going from Purdue to Illinois, he went. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was Purdue to Illinois. That's how it ended up going.
So the wussy, we recruited him out of Purdue, but because he knew we had Testaverde and Craig Erickson, he chose to go to Illinois. And as a kid following college football, okay, I'm 57 now.
Yeah.
What year was that? What year was that Purdue to Illinois?
That was in the 80s, man. Mid to late 80s. Yeah, that's like 86, 87.
So I'm like 20 there. This is 30 something years ago. At that point, I said, "You're going to Illinois." So I'm saying Illinois then. So
and you're still saying that now. You're still saying that now, all these years later.
Brett. Just watch it. Just bring it in full circle if you want. I mean, yeah, Illinois basketball. Now that used to be pretty damn good back in the day, but Illinois football, come on, bro. I mean, I know there's like some Illinois fan that's going to run into this and they're just going to like hate life that I just killed Illinois for a couple minutes. Oh man! All right. So what else is going on? Any other news going on the Canes front?
Well, they're still looking for a defensive backs coach, and I mentioned to you last week on Friday when
available, by the way, Sam Madison. Sam Madison needs a job.
That's true. There you go. That's another name that's intriguing, right? To throw out there. I tend to think it's going to be somebody who Lance Guidry has had experience with before. He coaches and can recruit. Yeah, I mean, I think that's those are those kind of spots. And like I mentioned before, Guidry coaches safeties. So this is like a cornerback job, meaning the guy doesn't even have to coach the entire secondary. He can just come in and do one part of it, split the job with Guidry, and you know. So having a really good recruiter makes sense. Somebody with South Florida ties, obviously, especially, you know, cornerback is a position that, if we're being honest, that's the one area besides quarterback, I would say the one area on defense where Miami has not necessarily done great. Like Tyreek Stevenson had a great rookie season with the Bears, but he was a guy that they got in the transfer portal out of Georgia. And you know, obviously now you're going to have Cam Kitchens and James Williams drafted, but you look at the cornerback spot in particular, like there's been a lot of really, really good players that have left South Florida to go play elsewhere. And so recruiting cornerback would be something big for Miami.
Yeah. And it's unlike Miami that they have been, you know, kind of, let's say, weak overall. They haven't been as strong as they used to be at that spot. They were one of the strongest in college football. Now, that has not been the case for a few years now, man.
Well, that's what's happened. The SEC's gotten all the best ones, like Alabama and Georgia have gotten the majority of the elite QBs because they're the ones playing for championships. And so I think, you know, there's been some really good ones down here. Obviously, Patrick Surtain, you mentioned him, his son, you know, was one of the best to come out of this area, top 10 overall pick in the NFL draft. So a guy that has oodles of talent. Those are the kind of guys that Miami needed to get, and they just weren't able to bring here. So I think that's a position going forward, especially the 2025 class, that Miami really, really, really wants to have a guy that can recruit at that spot.
Yeah, I would imagine that's why a guy like, you know, I threw it out there, Sam Madison, to have a little fun. That probably will not be an option because Sam doesn't have a heavy experience of recruiting, and you got to have a guy that really can get it done. Anything else on the recruiting front that we should know about?
No, just you know, they're into the 25 guys right now, the evaluation period, and you know, offers and getting guys on campus eventually. You know, once spring football starts in March, that's going to be a big push to get a lot of these guys back on campus. The more visits you have on campus, the better shot you feel like you have with the best players in the country. So you know, Mario is a recruiter. That's what he's here to do, and they're focused on a lot of 25 guys. They just had the Orlando Under Armour camp this past weekend. Miami's in a few weeks. The one here that they do at Ives Estates Park, I'll be going to that one, and you'll have a lot of kids from all over the state going to that to compete in it. So you know, it's still very early in the recruiting process, but you know, spring football is right around the corner. It will be starting in early March. You'll have the spring game probably sometime in April, and then you know, go from there and get closer and closer to football season, because it feels like it's miles and miles away. But when you say spring football is going to start in early March, it's not as daunting anymore, right? At least we'll have something going on with practice. We'll be able to watch these guys and see something. See Cam Ward a little bit. See all the new transfers that they brought in.
Yeah, see if some of the guys are healthy too, right? So,
right. See who's banged up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always another issue there. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro and catch his work there at The Athletic. You should subscribe. You can keep up every single day. Manny, as always, appreciate you, my brother. We'll catch up on Friday.
All right, brother. Take care, man. Good talking to you.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Manny Navarro, as always, coming through for us. Don't forget, we come through for you. 10% off at Caneswear. Whether you go online, anywhere you're at in the country, go to caneswear.com. They got Dolphins gear, Marlins gear, Panthers gear, Inter Miami gear, Miami Heat gear, and, of course, practically anything and everything with the Canes logo on it. Lights and neon signs for your bar, sneakers, hats, shirts, stickers, bracelets. I mean, anything and everything you can probably think of with a UM logo on it, they probably have it. You'll go crazy in there. Use our code BIGO10. You will get 10% off online. Or if you go in person, when you walk in at 2655 South University Drive, give them our code BIGO10. You will get 10% off at caneswear.com.